Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to go over supply drops and the main ways to earn them in Call of Duty World War II, as well as what they give in terms of loot. So the main things I'm going to go over is the likes of orders and contracts, as well as other random ways of getting supply drops which don't entirely make sense, but are a thing and are completely different from the other CODs. So in this Call of Duty we don't have keys or crypto keys or supply drop points or something like that. You cannot purchase supply drops with in-game currency. COD points are going to be added on the 11th of November, I believe. So at the time of this video going up, they don't exist in Call of Duty World War II. However, I believe if you pre-ordered the game or you got the digital deluxe edition, you get like 1,100 COD points for World War II, and you'll get them on the 11th, I believe. So the first thing I'm going to go over is orders, and orders are basically Black Ops 3 and IW's contracts. So it's slightly different though. So headquarters is a new thing in Call of Duty World War II, and it's a big thing getting supply drops and everything related and all that stuff. When you're in a headquarters, and to access headquarters you just log into multiplayer and it should bring you there automatically. Headquarters is currently turned off, so you can only have yourself and your friends in your headquarters lobby. When server traffic dies down or something, they'll turn it on, so there'll be lobbies of people in the headquarters. But yes, that's how it's working currently. But essentially, when you're in headquarters, go over to Major Hard, and he will have 6 daily contracts, 3 weekly contracts, and a special contract. The daily contracts rotate every day, as per the term daily. Weekly challenges do the exact same thing, only they rotate weekly. And the special contract, I have no idea how often this rotates, but I would expect monthly, or whenever Sledgehammer Games decides to rotate. These orders usually give XP, armory points, or supply drops, and we'll get into armory points in a few minutes. But essentially, you do not have to buy these orders, you just accept them. You can accept 3 dailies, 3 weeklies, and you can have 1 special from what I understand. And you can abandon these orders, so if you pick the likes of get 30 kills in TDM and you feel as though you can actually achieve that, you can abandon the contract and go pick another one. If you abandon the contract on the same day that you picked it up, I believe it'll be there again for you to pick it up. So if you accidentally abandon a mission, you'll be able to go back to you'll be able to go back to Major Hard and pick it up again. However, I believe if you abandon it on a day which isn't the day you picked it up, it won't be there anymore. It'll be a different contract. So these contracts or these orders don't tend to be too difficult, and usually are very achievable, and they can, like I said, reward XP, armory points, or common or rare supply drops. I believe they also might give you social score, which I'll also talk about in a few minutes. Once you complete an order, you have to go back to Major Hard and collect the reward, because if you don't do this, I don't actually know if it'll just disappear. In fact, no, you have to collect your reward before you can choose another one. So if you're wondering, oh, I completed the order but I don't have the reward for it, you have to go to Major Hard and actually accept it and get the reward like that, and then you can pick up another one. So the next thing is contracts, and contracts are essentially the Black Ops 1 contracts. So in Black Ops 1 you would have these lists of contracts which you can pick per day, I believe. I don't know how many you could pick, maybe you can pick like infinite amount or something, but you use your COD points, which are completely different to the COD points we have now, and they're basically what we have as armory points in Call of Duty World War II. And you basically wager 200, maybe more, of these COD points, or these just points, armory points, World War II, like I said, and you buy your way into the contract, and then you have a limited amount of time to actually complete it. So you might have what I've mentioned already, the 30 kills in a single TDM match. However, it won't be 30 kills in a single TDM match, it'll be to get 30 kills in TDM, and the time limit will be 10 minutes. So you will have 10 minutes to get collectively 30 kills in TDM. It doesn't have to be a single match, it just has to be in 10 minutes of playing TDM. This time doesn't count lobbies, so it's only in-game time, so it's only time when you're actually controlling your soldier in a match of TDM. So if you're playing Domination, I don't know if it actually counts. It might count, and it might be like, oh, mission failed because you spent 10 minutes on Domination instead of TDM, but I don't know that, and like I said, it doesn't count the lobby time. These rewards are very similar to the order rewards as well. I don't know if they are identical, but I'll just reiterate, they give XP, armory points, social score and supply drops, both common and rares. And the better the reward, the higher amount of armory points you'll have to use to buy into them, and also the harder it'll be, so keep that in mind. And personally I haven't been doing these because I just want to stockpile my armory points before I do this to get better at the game, because I know how to just feel them immediately. But yeah, so that's orders and contracts. The next thing is a daily login and payroll. So this is how you actually get armory points. Armory points are essentially the salvage slash scrap slash parts of this game. So in IW you salvage to unlock weapon variants. In Modern Warfare Mastered you use them to buy parts of collections in order to get DLC weapons. It's very similar in this game where you use these armory points in order to unlock epic variants of guns, which I'll get to at the end of the video, but they're also useful for buying your way into orders and therefore getting supply drops. So there are many ways to get this, such as just doing orders and contracts in order to get more of these, as well as daily login and payroll. What I didn't actually know until I watched a video is that there are actually daily login bonuses. They're very difficult to notice, but at the top right hand of your screen, whenever you first log into multiplayer, it will show you a number, which is the amount of armory points that you're going to get. So it might show you like 500 armory points, and it'll then transition to a multiplier, which on day 1 it'll be 1. On day 2 of consecutively logging in, it might be 1.5, and it'll multiply your 500 by 1.5, which will give you 750. Day 3 might be 1.75, and therefore multiply your 500 by that. Day 4 might be 2, so it'll keep going up on consecutive days. Obviously, I don't know if it actually continuously goes up. I don't know if day 1 will be 1, then day 2 will be 1.5, day 3 will be 2, and it'll keep consecutively going, so like day 100 might have a massive armory login, or it might give you a massive bonus. Somehow I doubt it, because I don't think Activision would allow that, but you never know. You do have to be very dedicated to do that. The next thing is payroll, which is every 4 hours if you go to the mail, you will be able to collect 100 armory points. This can stack up if you actually get it every 4 hours, just like set an alarm on your phone or something. I won't be doing that because obviously, that's weird. But if you're into that, you can do that, and obviously if you're playing the game for like a good few hours, you could do it as soon as you log in, then at the 4 hours of playing, you can go back to the armory and collect it again. So there is a timer, so you can't just keep checking on the mail to see when it'll be available again, but that's just 2 ways of getting these armory credits, and it's pretty good ways to get them as well. The next way of getting supply drops is social score, so this can help you get stuff other than supply drops as well. So you can actually see what your social rank is by going into the menus in multiplayer, going to soldier, going to dossier, and it's on the right lower hand side of the screen. I'll probably have a clip on screen to show where it is. But it also shows directly below your rank and score what your next unlock is. So this can be anything from armory points to supply drops, both common and rare I think, as well as variants. Now I mean any variant in this game is either epic or heroic, so it's pretty good, pretty worthwhile investment. And the armory point paybacks can be pretty good, it can be like 1,000 or something like that I've seen. So it's pretty good ranking up your social score. I think it is pretty difficult too, because there are different ways to rank it up, such as doing contracts or orders in order to get, a 25 social score. If you commend a player, it gives the other player that you're commending 25 social score. So you can do this by going up to another soldier in headquarters, which is obviously going to be better whenever they actually turn on the whole lobby side of headquarters and there'll be people in headquarters. But you can test this out by inviting one of your friends to the game. They'll be in your headquarters, you can go up to them. You can hold square on PlayStation, X on Xbox, and whatever the button is in PC, and it'll bring up a menu, go to command player, and it will allow you to command the player once. And I don't know if this will reset eventually, so I don't know if it'll reset after like a few months or something like that, or a few weeks, or if it's literally as soon as you command that player, you can no longer ever command that player ever again on the same account. Obviously commanding a player doesn't give you anything, however if you command a player and then that player's like, oh, that person commanded me, I'm going to command them back, you'll get 25 social score. You can actually see if you're being commanded by looking at the bottom left hand side of your screen, and I believe it pops up in the feed that you've been commanded, so you can find a player and command them back. You can't do this currently in lobbies, however, or in headquarters, because there aren't actually people in headquarters. However, if you're in a multiplayer lobby, you can press pause on players in the actual lobby menu and commend them. But it's highly unlikely they'll actually notice that you've commended them because it's in the lobby screen and not in headquarters. The other way, which I believe is the only other way of getting social score, however there might be a few other ways that I don't know of, is by getting people to watch your supply drops being opened. So what you should do is you should get, like, currently, because like headquarters isn't actually working, you could invite 3 or 4 of your friends to your headquarters, open a supply drop with them watching, and you'll get up to, I think it's like 4 social score. Social score, I think the rank's like 750 XP or something like that, so 4 is actually a pretty decent amount. And if you've got multiple supply drops open, you can actually get quite a few social score by doing this. And I believe on the tail end of this, if you're watching someone else open a supply drop, you will also be able to get XP after about 5 opens, I think. And I believe on your about 10th or 12th supply drop watching opening, you will get a supply drop of your own. I don't know if it's common or rare. I would assume common, but you never know, then you can use that to get social score and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's about however you can get social score. All the ways I know of, at least, I believe there'll be like public events or something that happen in the headquarters as well. However, this is currently turned off because there's no one actually in headquarters. So when they allow people back into headquarters in like the actual lobbies, they'll probably turn this back on and you'll be able to get social score from that. The only other way, I believe, of getting supply drops is by playing matches. So, like I said, there aren't keys, however, at the end of each game, at the winner's circle, on the right hand side of the screen, there is a list of players in the lobby, and there'll be text above it saying supply drops earned with a number. This number is usually 0 or 3 or 4, however it can be 1 or 2 as well. I think the max is 4 and the least is 0. So basically, more often than not, it is 0. However, if it is something other than 0, it will randomly give a supply drop to someone on that list. So I'll probably have some clips on screen right now showing it. But essentially, if there's 4 supply drops earned, it will go through the list and select randomly 4 people at random and give them supply drops. I don't know if one person can earn more than 1 supply drop via this. I haven't seen it, but I haven't played the game that much either, so you never know. But I think it would be pretty broken if they can. But I would like to think they've got CoD in it that would make it so as you can only earn 1 supply drop per match. At maximum. Personally, I don't think this is a very good idea because whilst, yeah, it's a cool wee bonus, it also means that there isn't actually any way to earn supply drops by just playing the game other than contracting orders, which is pretty bad because some of the, that means you're basically only able to get like a maximum of like 2 or 3 supply drops per day, unless you watch people open supply drops or you get lucky at the end of matches. So I don't entirely agree with that, but at the same time, if you get lucky, it can work out in your favour. Another thing that I noticed is I was getting random supply drops just from like ranking up, and I don't know if this was from ranking up or by the game glitching and not showing that I got a supply drop at the end of a match, but I actually did. So I don't know if you get supply drops from ranking up. You might get supply drops from ranking up your division, you might get supply drops from ranking up maybe like 5 ranks of your actual player, but I have no idea, and either could be true. So those are all the ways that I know of to actually get supply drops. However, there's 2 other ways of actually getting variants. So like I said already, you can get variants from your social score. So if you rank up your social rank, you can unlock a weapon variant that your next unlock can be epic or heroic, I think. The other thing is divisions. So if you get a division to the max prestige, which I believe is 4, it will reward you with either a heroic or an epic version of the division gun. So for example, if you max prestige airborne division, you will get an epic or a heroic MP40. I believe it is completely random. I don't know if it's to protect it though, so I don't know if you, for example, get one of the epic variants from supply drops, if it will only be able to give you the other epic or the heroic version. I don't know if it'll be able to give you that same epic again and give you a duplicate, but it'd be pretty bad if it can. But yeah, I have no idea about that. So the only other way to actually get variants is via collections. So I've already mentioned MWR and its similarities to the armory points system, and this is basically identical to MWR, only with variants instead of DLC guns. So in MWR, whenever DLC weapons are added into the game, you would be able to unlock the DLC guns with collections. So what a collection is it basically like 8 or 10 different items that you can get from supply drops. However, you can unlock them either by supply drops or via scrap, salvage, points, whatever it is. you'll be able to unlock each item on the list, craft it, and it will count towards your collection. If you craft all 8, 10, whatever the number is, items in that collection, you will unlock that DLC weapon. In World War II, this is identical. If you have a certain epic variant that you want, let's say you want the Epic Thompson, you will be able to go to the collections tab, go to the M1927, I think is what it's actually called in game, and see, oh, there's the Epic Thompson. The collection for that includes 10 items, which I need to unlock with armory points or by getting from supply drops. You can then go about collecting all these armory points and opening supply drops and stuff, unlock all of the items in that collection, and you will get the Epic Thompson. The only downside to this are that you won't be able to use the armory points for actually getting contracts, which can give you supply drops or that sort of thing. But the main thing I think to this is that there is only currently, I believe, one epic variant per gun in the collections, which means that there are 2 variants for each gun, both heroic and an epic, which are only available in supply drops, and you can only get them via RNG, which I don't entirely agree with. However, they are only cosmetic only, so it really only affects you if you really like the way a gun looks, and you would be upset if you can't get it. There is no stat changing variants in this game, all cosmetic, so it's not entirely that big a deal, but it is kind of somewhat anyway. So that's about it for all the ways you can earn variants, all the ways you can earn supply drops. The only other thing I want to talk about is what supply drops actually contain. This is probably the stupidest collection of stuff in supply drops I've ever seen in Call of Duty games. So what you can get in supply drops in Call of Duty World War II multiplayer supply drops are pistol grips, calling cards, epic or heroic variants, character gear, taunts and consumables. So what I mean by this, pistol grips are a new form of cosmetic option for your pistols in Call of Duty World War II. This is historically accurate, but no one actually wants them and they clutter up the supply drop system. If these were customizable and you could put your own design on them in create an emblem, but it's only for your pistol grip, it'd be cool. In supply drops, they are useless and you can hardly even see them in game. Obviously, supply drops are only cosmetic only, and in their current form, this doesn't really matter because there aren't any stat changing weapons in supply drops. However, I imagine once they eventually get around to adding in new weapons into supply drops, it will clutter up supply drops and make people very angry. Basically, there's 60 or 70 pistol grips in the game currently, I believe. I don't know if you unlock one for a pistol and it's oh yeah, I've got this pistol grip for the default pistol, but I also can't use it on the M1911 because fun. But yeah, pistol grips are stupid in my opinion, but if, supply drops are only cosmetic only currently, so it doesn't matter all that much. Calling cards, the usual sort of stuff, there aren't that many of them, so that's a good thing because it doesn't clutter supply drops very much. There are currently 3 variants of weapons. There are 2 epics per weapon and 1 heroic per weapon. I believe there might be more, but I've only seen that many. And therefore there are whatever the amount of weapons in the game times 3 variants that you can get from supply drops, which is a pretty hefty amount in my opinion. So I would say calling cards and variants kind of balance each other out, but then pistol grips kind of comes in and just yeah, I'm going to gum up the system. Character gear is also a thing which looks pretty cool, and I kind of agree with this. This looks pretty cool. To access this, because I've seen people complain online that you can't actually see what your gear is, go to your divisions tab in multiplayer, press Y, triangle, whatever the options button is in PC, press A, X, select whatever it is, and then you will see all the character gear you have for your division. Sadly, whenever you unlock them by supply drops, it doesn't tell you what division it's for. However, it's there are only 5 divisions, so it should be pretty easy to see what you got it for. The next thing is taunts, which at the first glance this sounds pretty good because they've been in Black Ops 3 IW and now this game. However, it's probably the worst form we've had of taunts. Well, no, probably not actually, because dabbing was in Black Ops 3. But in this game, you can get basically 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 of the exact same taunt, only they say different things in the headquarters. When you taunt in headquarters, or gesture in headquarters, whatever it's called, it will come up with a line of text just in the feed saying something. So you could get the wave gesture, and it could say hi, or you could get the wave gesture, and it could say hey, or you could wave gesture and say hi Moody. So yeah, and those are 3 separate gestures, so it's just to come with the system essentially. But yeah, so that's the thing. And then there's consumables, which isn't too bad because it's double XP, double weapon XP, and double Division XP I think is a thing as well, and you can only have double XP 1 hour every day I believe. I don't know if this is the same weapon XP and Division XP, but you can see this by going to consumables or something in multiplayer menus. I'm not entirely sure about this, but you can view it, and yeah, that's everything for the video. I can hopefully trim this down to like 15 minutes or below, and that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, maybe even subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.